Thank you for attending our South Regional TAFE Open Week Zoom session. Today we're going to talk about our aged care and disability qualifications as well as our home and community care. I've got Nerylyn here with me. She is a lecturer in the aged care and disability qualifications, and she'll go through a bit of an overview of the industry, the jobs from our qualifications, and then we'll go through a bit more in detail around our courses that we offer. So Nerylyn, do you want to get started on the overview of the industry?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the aged care industry. So a lot of people think that working in aged care just involves working in residential care, but in actual fact, it's now moving more to home and community. So you work in residential care, you can work in home and community, you can work in day centres. There's a whole range of stuff that we can do. So we can go as a personal support person, we can go as a social support person, we can go as somebody that works in the industry, in the residential industry. So it's a really wide range of jobs that you can get out of this qualification. We are offering, as from next year, the Cert 2 or the Prep to aged care. So it's like a little, let's see whether I like it or whether I don't like it. The Cert 3 aged care and the Cert 4 aged care. And that's for people who are currently working in the industry. So if they might want to do a supervisory role rather than a personal support person. And so that's aged care. The disability work, you're working with people that are much younger than the older people. So you might be working residential, like as in MSWA. You might be working in homes where you might have 2 or 3 people that live in that particular home that have similar disabilities, or you might be working in the community. You might be just somebody that goes in and helps in a normal family home. You could also be working as a respite carer. So there's lots of different aspects with our disability work that you can work as well. So once again, we're starting off with the introductory Cert 2, you can do Cert 3, and you can also do your Cert 4. You don't have to do Cert 2 before you start your Cert 3. It's just that is there for people who are not quite sure whether, I want to try this out. I may not, but I don't know whether I really like it. So to do Cert 2, you have to do 100 hours placement for both qualifications. We find your placement for you and we work out all that out. Cert 3 involves 120 hours placement, as does a Cert 4 for both the disability and the aged care stream. So you can do those as well. You can also get dual certificates. So you can study your Cert 3 individual support ageing. And if you want to work home and community, then you could just do the extra units and get a second qualification. Okay, so Rachel's just mentioned to me about job outcomes. We actually have quite a high success rate of students getting jobs as they go out, because when you go out on placement, we send you to workplaces that quite often will offer our students jobs. And as I said, you don't actually have to work residential. So it can be in the residential industry, it can be in the daycare industry, it can be respite, and it also can be home and community.
So I'm just going to go for a brief outline through the courses that we offer, and then Nerylyn can go into a bit more detail. So as she mentioned, we've got a Cert 2. We have now, these are new courses that we're running for 2021, are going to be pre-traineeships. We have a Certificate 2 in Introduction to Aged Care and a Certificate 2 into Introduction to Disability. These qualifications are a really great starting point for somebody that may want to try the industry first. They offer a low-level start into the industry. And it's a really great starting point for you to go on to Certificate 3. So as we go on to Certificate 3, we run our Certificate 3 in individual support, and we run 3 streams. We've got our aged care stream, we have our disability stream, and next year we'll be bringing on our home and community care stream. The package that we're planning to offer allows students, if they choose, to be able to complete an aged disability and home and community care Certificate 3 in individual support while at Bunbury campus and come out with 3 qualifications. There are units that will cross over and Nerylyn can talk more about those. And we also offer a Certificate 4 in ageing and a Certificate 4 in disability. They are Certificate 4s are people that are working in the industry, and this is at a higher level supervisory role, but we can have conversations with you regarding if you're wanting to look at the Certificate 4 level. We offer full-time in all our qualifications, but we do have flexibility. So discussions can be had with myself or Nerylyn around working around your requirements, but yeah, case by case basis, and we do have flexibility available. We do offer traineeships. We're just about to take on some new traineeships, and we also offer other range of skill sets. Next year particularly, we'll be looking at a manual handling and first aid skill set. That is a requirement for people working in the industry. As Nerylyn said, there are work placement hours required. Each qualification has their own amount of work placement required, and the lecturers assist you in finding placement for you and preparing you for going out into the workplace. Nerylyn, do you want to go into a bit more depth into our qualifications that we offer?
Okay, so your Cert 2, Introduction in Aged Care, you have 8 units of study. Some of those units of study you also in your Cert 3 qualification and also in your Cert 4. So if you've done them already in one qualification, you don't have to repeat them. We can give you credit transfers across. So that just makes things easier. So Cert 2 in disability has 1 unit of study less. So that has 7 units of study. Once again, the same goes across. For all 3 of your Cert 3 qualifications, your individual support, home and community, aged care and disability work, they all have 13 units of study. And so part of this, the changes of our training package this year is that they have incorporated a unit of study about infection control, mainly because of what's happened with COVID and what's happened in our industry is that it has been found that maybe it's some of our staff have transferred it on by not having enough information or knowledge about proper infection control principles. So that unit of study is being delivered by somebody who has studied infection control and knows a little bit about infection control. All units of study that are delivered here at TAFE are by people who are skilled in the areas that they deliver the units of study in. You are required to do your work placement hours, and before you go out on placement, you are required to have completed your manual handling training and certain aspects of your personal care training. So for us to be able to, we find your placements, for us to be able to send you out on placements and at designated times when we go out on placement, you have to show that you've worked through the units of study and that you're workplace ready, because workplaces like you to be workplace ready. We also send out on placement, so we do block placement, 2 weeks in first term, 2 weeks in second term. To go out on placement, we send out supervisors with you. We try on the first week you go out on placement, always send a supervisor out for orientation day, and then for another 3 days, so 4 days in total on the first week of placement. The second week we might drop it down to 3 days. Then when you go back out the next term, we also send you supervisors, and they actually are the ones that help you to shower people. They help you to use your knowledge that you've learnt to do work in the workplace, the stuff that you've already learnt in class. They will be the ones signing off your work placement assessments for every unit of study, for 13 units of study, there is a workplace component to it. So there's no negotiating about not going out on placement. We have to go out on placement. And the training package gives us an amount of hours to go out on placement and to do those. And if we're not finished in those amount of hours, we have to then find placement, go further. So we work at you going out for 4 weeks, 5 days a week. You don't come to TAFE those days, and you get to know your workplace and you get to know what's expected of you.
Thanks, Marilyn. So I think that pretty much outlines everything around the qualifications and what we offer. Peter, did you have any questions?
No, that's all pretty straightforward. It's pretty cool.
Thank you, Peter.
Do you think that doing the 3 streams is something you'd be interested in, or would you just be looking at the aged care?
Just the aged care I'm interested in at the moment because I'm only going to work part-time. So, yeah, that's probably more what I'm interested rather than anything else.
Yep, perfect.
So are you thinking of working aged care residential or aged care home and community? Because that's a difference as well.
I was thinking more home and community.
Yeah.
So it may be beneficial to you to have a look at doing the home and community as well, to just obviously assist with doing the aged care in the home and community. You've got the 2 qualifications.
Yeah.
Because there are, like, that is an extra, I'm thinking 2 units of study is just off the top of my head. And they're the units of study that talk about supporting families and carers. Particularly 1 unit of study talks about providing support in home and community. So this is something that we are offering this year because industry have said, you know, that's the way the industry's going. We're trying to keep our older people home now. Let's train people so that when they go out from us, that they actually have the right skills.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely something for you to have a think about. And maybe once you get started next year, you'll be able to have those further discussions with Nerilyn or Sandy around how that all works and what's best for you. But
because I would still send you out to residential care for placement, for parts of your placement, because you need, that's when you're out there, you can do the showering and the personal care and the other stuff. So you would be still going out to residential. But if I knew that you were interested in home and community, I might be able to, on your second placement, send you either to the day centre. I've got a couple of day centres that like my students to go on placement, or I'm trying to find some workplaces out in the community that will allow you to go out. So that would then give you a wider range and a wider experience of what you would like to do. So, you know, I know we're recording this still, aren't we?
yeah, that's fun.
Okay. I was going to, when we stop recording, Peter, I want to ask you a couple of questions, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've gone through everything. So I just want to thank you for joining us in our Zoom session. It's the first time we've tried it. And hopefully this information that we've provided you has been helpful. And hopefully we see you on campus next year. So what I'm going to do now is just turn off the recording and then Nerilyn can have a further discussion with you